Alrighty. National Broadcasting Network, organizational value kindness. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to be part of the value training. As the new members of the National Broadcasting Network team, you're joining an organization that not only strives for excellence in media, but also places a strong emphasis on the character and integrity. Today, we will focus on one of our core values, kindness. At the NBN, kindness is more than a polite gesture or a professional expectation. It is a principle that shapes how we collaborate, how we treat our audience, and how we carry out our mission of telling stories with integrity and compassion. The presentation will introduce you to the heart of this value and how it plays an active role in the culture you are now part of. Alrighty. As many of you already know, working in the media industry can be intense. It demands creativity, resilience, adaptability, and the ability to thrive under pressure. In such an environment, workplace culture makes all the difference. That's why here at NBN intentionally builds its foundation on values that support not only professional excellence, but also personal well being. Kindness is one of these essential values, but here, kindness isn't something we practice only when it's convenient or easy. Instead, it's something we commit to even when deadlines are tight, tensions rise, and the pressure feels overwhelming. Through this training, you'll learn how kindness functions in real world scenarios at NBN and why it's so instrumental for our long term success. Biblical foundation. Kindness has deep roots in Scripture. Galatians 5:22 reminds us that kindness is one of the fruits of the spirits, meaning it is evidence of God actively working in our lives. It calls us to reflect God's character, his gentleness, mercy, patience, and compassion. In Luke 10, Jesus also shares the story of the Good Samaritan, a powerful example of kindness in action. The Samaritan wasn't obligated to help the injured man, yet he stopped, cared for him, and ensured he received the attention he needed. What's significant here is that kindness wasn't just a feeling, it was a deliberate action, even when it required sacrifice. At NBN, the biblical foundation shapes how we approach our work. We believe kindness is something we practice intentionally, with purpose, and in a way that honors the dignity of every individual we encounter. Alrighty. Kindness matters at NBN because it creates an environment where people can genuinely thrive. Research has consistently shown that when employees feel valued, understood, and supported, they are more engaged and more collaborative and more committed to their work. In high pressure settings like ours, where deadlines, creative expectations, and fast paced decision makings are the norm, kindness provides stability. It encourages people to communicate openly, to take ownership of challenges, and approach problem solving with a sense of unity rather than fear. Kindness improves morale, reduces burnout, and strengthens teamwork. We quite simply, it helps us function both as professional media organizations and as a community genuinely cares for one another. We all have those friends who work in environments who kindness really isn't a priority for their companies, where you can tell individuals feel as if they are struggling in their work environment, yet there's no one there to show them that hand. Here at NBN, we thrive on reaching out to you and making you feel supported, so that way we can always put our best work forward and we can keep each other on that straight path, which can be very difficult in such a high strung environment such as media. Alrighty, we're making some progress here in the slides. Organizational culture. NBN's commitment to kindness is deeply embedded in our culture. Our mission statement, telling stories with integrity and compassion, isn't just a catchy phrase. It reflects the value that guide our day-to-day operations. You will see kindness expressed in our team meetings, in how feedback is delivered, in mentorship relationships, and even in how we approach disagreements or moments of tension. Our leaders strive to model empathy, humility, and respect in every interaction. We want every employee to feel heard, supported, and valued. This is why we prioritize open communication, ongoing professional development, and collaborative decision making. Kindness is not an afterthought. It is woven into the fabrics of who we are as an organization. Alrighty, so now we're on the scenario slide. So the next two slides you will see there are some scenarios of where we will be using some kind of form of kindness to show how we can grow as individuals, as leaders, or as workers. So for scenario one, Kind leadership. To help illustrate how kindness shows up at NBN, let's look at our first scenario. Imagine a team working on a live production segment. The pressure is high and mistakes happen on air. The easy reaction would be frustration or blame, but our leaders take a different approach. Instead of focusing on the mistake, the leader chooses patience. They gather the team, calmly discuss what happened, and focus on what can be learned. This is a kindness in leadership. By responding with understanding rather than anger, the leaders create a psychological safety, a space where employees know they won't be punished for being human. Over time, this kind of leadership builds trust, strengthens team cohesion, and helps employees grow more confident in their abilities. Kindness, in this case, becomes a tool of empowerment. So in this scenario, we see he's getting down to crunch time in this production thing. Someone messes up. And as we see in our day-to-day lives or even growing up, people can quickly react in anger and frustration. And that kind of, it honestly just pushes down people's unity in a group setting. It also can help, like, it also decrease creativity within a work environment. When you have all these great ideas, you want to get them out. If someone's quick to shut you down or quick to be angry with you, and like how we see in this scenario, it's going to hinder people's progress, especially in something that is so artistic like the media and developing things like that. So as we're working in your day-to-day lives, I just want to remind you guys to keep showing kindness in your leadership roles and in your followership roles. All right, we're moving on to scenario two. This is going to be ethical storytelling. All right, for now let's consider a second scenario. A news team is assigned a story involving a sensitive and emotional topic. They have a choice: pursue the most dramatic angle to attract attention, or approach a story of compassion and respect. Here at NBN, the team chooses the latter. They interview sources thoughtfully, handle the subject matter with care, and craft a narrative that honors the people involved without the sacrificing truth. This is kindness expressed through journalism. Ethical storytelling requires balancing professional responsibilities with empathy. When we choose kindness in our reporting, we build credibility with our viewers, uphold our mission, and demonstrate that people behind the story matter as much as the story that is being told itself. Wow, can you believe that? In the media, you have a strict code of giving people the truth to help them, but you also want to draw people in. Here at MBN, our goal is to not just scream things out, get people's attention to look at us, look at us. We want to give the truth, but also being empathetic to people. And when you make these ties with your audience of showing empathy, but yet also telling them the facts, they feel like as if they can trust you. You develop this unity with them where they feel safe to come to you and listen to your stories and not feel like as if you don't care about their feelings or about other people's lives that these stories can be reflecting. Alrighty, slide 8, decision making here at the network. Kindness also plays a significant role in leadership decision making. At MBN, we approach decisions through a servant leadership mindset, considering not only the outcomes but also people's affected by those outcomes. This means being transparent about changes, offering support during transitions, and seeking input from team members whenever possible. Kindness in decision making doesn't mean avoiding hard choices, rather, it means navigating those choices with empathy, fairness, and humility. When leaders consistently make decisions guided by compassion, employees feel respected and valued. This strengthens trust and fosters culture where people are more willing to collaborate, take initiative, and communicate openly. This kind of ties in with people who've taken some interest in emotional intelligence. When you have leaders who are not just transactional, they will be servants and they will show that they are interested in you and your decisions and how it affects you, which will make you kind of feel as a cohesive group of individuals. So yes, on to slide 9. Excuse me. Employee expectations. As NBN employees, you play a key role in helping maintain a culture of kindness. This means practicing patience during stressful moments, offering help when a colleague is overwhelmed, and communicating respectfully when opinions differ. It also means being intentional about how you resolve conflict and how you contribute to the emotional climate of your department. Kindness is not limited to the big gestures, it's often seen in small daily actions, like encouraging someone, showing appreciation, or giving constructive feedback in a considerate manner. When each of us commits to the kindness, we build a workplace that is healthy, collaborative, and aligned with our mission. Alrighty, slide 10. The summary. Kindness strengthens leaderships, biblical and ethical alignments, and of course, a core value that directs every decision. As we wrap up, remember that kindness is more than a value we talk about. It's a value we live out every day. It strengthens our leadership, improves teamwork, enhances decision making, and reflects our biblical foundation. At NBN, kindness helps us maintain a culture where people feel respected and supported. Even in the midst of constant deadlines and creative demands, when we choose kindness, we choose integrity. We choose compassion, and we choose to reflect Christ in how we work and how we treat others. I encourage each of you to carry this value into your role and allow kindness to guide your interactions, your decisions, and your leadership. Together, we can continue to building an organization that honors both people and the purpose. Slide 11, references. These references outline the biblical and scholarly foundations that supports our understanding of kindness as leadership value. They offer further insight into how kindness influences organizational culture, decision making, and workplace well-being. If you'd like to explore the topic further, I strongly encourage you to review these materials at your own convenience.